What he was saying during that period was that too much chicken, too much protein isn't good. Vegetables are superior. That's basically what he was trying to say. Vegetables are superior. You need vegetables. And in my head, I'm like, you don't really need vegetables. In no way, shape, or form are vegetables better than, chicken for satiating benefits. Like, you can't get full eating loads of vegetables. If you have chicken and you pair that with a salad, fair enough, right? You can have loads of salad, loads of volume, even because it's low calorie, sorry. So when you have loads of low calorie, high volume foods, you're bound to get full. But without chicken, that low calorie, high volume meal is just, it's not really even a meal. It'll keep you full for like half an hour maybe. In this video, we're going to be going over what to do if your family won't let you eat a lot of eggs, a lot of chicken, a lot of meat, a lot of protein in general. Like even sometimes with protein powders, with creatines, some families, including my own, can be a little bit, a bit, I don't know what the word is, but they can be a little bit hesitant. You can get some backlash from basically trying to eat a lot of protein, and there's a few reasons why that may be, and I'll tell you some things to do basically to get them on your side, or even some things you can do which basically make them ignore you. So when I was quite small, we didn't really eat a lot of protein. Not that we didn't have any, but there was just a set calendar. There was just a set timetable. So on certain days we would eat certain things, and we would eat meat maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And because you're small, you don't really have a say in what you're eating and how often you're eating whatever it is that you're eating. Does that make sense? So for example, say my mom would make chicken on a Wednesday and on a Saturday, then I couldn't really tell her, oh mom, can you make it for me on Thursday, and save some for me for Friday as well, so I can have meat Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday again. There was no really saying that. But then I get to a point where I was a bit older, and I'm like, you know what, I want to start having more protein, because protein actually used to keep me full. At the time I didn't really know, but I knew that eating more chicken would keep me full. I didn't have any science or anything, but I just knew from experience, from the days that I would eat chicken, from the Wednesdays and Saturdays, I knew if I had some kind of meat, some kind of fish, some kind of eggs, I would be fuller for longer, and the odds of me binging out on something which I really shouldn't have been eating would be a lot less. So a time came and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to tell my mum that make me chicken on a certain day. And what happened was, she would have these like frozen, like these marinated chicken strips, and I would ask her, mum, can you make me these chicken strips and like put them in like a wrap, or like some burger buns, something like that. Or even if worst come to worst, I would have even ate it on its own, like dry, with some sauce or whatever, right? But then she'd make it for me, but then as I asked her more and more, she was like, you need to stop eating all this chicken, right? Chicken's not good for you. You need to have more vegetables. You're having chicken every single day, all this, right? And then she got to a point where like, I'm going to tell your dad that you're eating all this chicken. And then it got to a point where she did tell my dad, but my pops wasn't really bothered, to be fair. But there was a point where my pops went through a phase. He's like, you're eating too much chicken as well. But he quickly forgot about it. But what he was saying during that period was that too much chicken, too much protein isn't good. Vegetables are superior. That's basically what he was trying to say. Vegetables are superior. You need vegetables. And in my head, I'm like, you don't really need vegetables. In no way, shape, or form are vegetables better than, chicken for satiating benefits. Like, you can't get full eating loads of vegetables. If you have chicken and you pair that with a salad, fair enough, right? You can have loads of salad, loads of volume, even because it's low calorie, sorry. So when you have loads of low calorie, high volume foods, you're bound to get full. But without chicken, that low calorie, high volume meal is just, it's not really even a meal. It'll keep you full for like half an hour maybe. There's a whole reason why they think this. It was when the British Empire took over and colonized, like, India, that part of the world, and they basically brainwashed them into thinking that vegetables are better than meat. And the whole time the British Empire, the Brits, they were basically eating steak, they were basically eating the meats, the proteins, the things that, kings and queens used to eat. And meanwhile, the Indians used to eat the slave food, the peasant food, the grains, the oats, the barley, all that kind of stuff. And it's carried on until even today, even until today, there's so many South Asians, like you ask your parents, you ask your grandparents, you're like, what is, what would you class as a healthy kind of food? And they will definitely say some kind of vegetables, even though the vegetable depends, like the vegetables in a nutshell, in a vacuum, might be healthy, but if you're someone who's got some kind of gut issues, you can't really digest vegetables like a normal person, then that vegetable basically becomes bad for you because it's giving you gastrointestinal problems. Like a lot of South Asians, you'll notice, even like young men, like people my age, even younger than me, they've got burping, they've got belching, they've got gastrointestinal issues, they just always have gas, they have heartburn, and it's because they're eating things which are not really, they can't really digest, and it's not very good for them. But anyways, if your family is more extreme on the side of, they don't really let you eat eggs, they don't really let you eat a lot of chicken, a lot of steak, a lot of protein powders, creatine, they're scared of all that, then there's a few things you can do. The simple way you can do is just talk to them in a simple way. Just be like, I'm trying to get healthier, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to put on muscle. Actually, don't even mention muscle, because muscle might be like, this guy might even jump on the steroids or something. So just say that you're trying to be healthier, you're trying to lose weight, and to do that you saw online that you need to have more chicken, and there's loads of studies, something like that. So I try and get them on your side by being a normal person, a good person, because at the end of the day, those are your parents, that is your family. But say they're still not having it, they're being very, they're dragging their feet, and there's a lot of friction. Then what you can do is kind of say something which will make them come on your side. So if you know that your mom's been trying to lose weight for a while, or your mom's trying to be healthier, just say that, you eating all this protein is healthy for you, because say your mom wants to lose weight, so so you just say as well that eating this kind of diet will flatten out your stomach. That's an an amazing thing, because a lot of South Asians, that's why they want a flat stomach, especially the mums, the women. But your mum, she might not want a flat stomach, she might want I don't know, she might want something else. But use your diet, whatever diet you're going for, right, which I'm assuming you want to have more protein, whatever. Say that you having the more protein will also get her the same goal as you're trying to get. Does that make sense? Because being healthy will get you to that endpoint. Does that make sense? So the next thing you can do is, the third thing is, you can be a bit of a bozo, a bit of a dafty. Just be like, oh, I don't know, I was hungry, so I'm eating more chicken, or I'm eating more eggs, I'm having protein shakes, because you're more hungry. And they'll think, they'll be a bit confused, and you'll get a bit of friction. But just be like, what, every time I eat chicken, every time I eat protein, when you make the meals with the chicken and the protein and the eggs, I feel full. So now, to feel fuller for longer, I'm going to make my own chicken, or can you make me more chicken? That's what you do. Very simple, very like idiot proof way. That is to basically try and get them on your side. Or that way they won't really be on your side. They'll just be like, this guy, forget him. Forget him. Let him eat the chicken, let him eat the eggs, whatever. And then the next thing you can do, it's not really a thing you can do, but just basically develop thick skin, get used to it. Just get used to them basically questioning you, asking you questions like, you don't need this much protein, you don't need to do X, Y, Z. Just do it anyway. Just be forceful. And if they're like, what, you can't be having this much chicken, right? It's being expensive. It's getting expensive. You can't be eating this much chicken. This red meat's expensive. Chicken's expensive. You're eating so many eggs every single day. You're eating 3 kg chicken breast. And it's just getting a bit out of hand. Then, that is, that's a valid point. But then what you can do is, worst comes to worst, get a part-time job. There was a point in my life where I used to referee football games, like they were under 14s, so I think year 8s or year 9s, and they would play 35 minutes each half, football games. So it would be about an hour and a bit of my time, and it would be decent money. If you round it to like 1 hour, it would be £24 an hour, which is decent, right? And there would be multiple games every weekend, but the thing is, I could not be bothered, and my pops used to drop me off. And he would actually stay and watch the games, and sometimes I would mess up, and alongside the crowd, I'd hear my dad, giving me abuse. So that was a different one. But worst comes to worst, if you can't afford this protein, these eggs, and you feel a bit bad about eating up all the food, then get a part-time job. It doesn't have to be anything long, just maybe 1 day a week for a few hours at some local shop where you're pretty much just chilling out anyway. Just get a job like that, and then then they can't really say anything, and then you've got this sort of like responsibility and a bit of pride about yourself, because it's like, you know what, you bought the food with your own money, you're gonna cook it, or you can even, you can get extras with your money and give it to your parents, because your parents deep down they might even want to have more protein, because just from young, the intuition is that protein, eggs, meat, steak, that's good food. That's food of kings and queens. That's good cuisine. Does that make sense? They don't want to be, even though they say vegetables are healthy and whatnot, I don't really believe that. They believe that in reality. Does that make sense? So, for example, say you gave your pops on a plate, there was a big red steak, right? A ribeye or whatever. And on the other plate, there would be some vegetable, right? Some kind of beans, And you offered it to your pops or your mom or whoever. What do you think they're going to take? Obviously, they're going to take the steak. So if you can get a part-time job and, you have some kind of, the purpose you're getting the part-time job is to get the meat, is to get the food, then you can get some extra for your family and basically distribute it around. And you can be like, Mom, you know what? Instead of cooking the meat twice a week or 3 times a week, cook it 3 or 4 times a week, and you can give it to, your siblings, your family, whoever else wants it. And if you want more help on diet, on training, you want a proper structured routine, something which I followed, something which I did to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds of fat, then join my free Skool community. The link will be in the description below, the first one. Click on that. Thank you.